already been subscribed. Right now, the queen, she on live.
Right now.
Please pull over the whip, no phoning when you drive. Dope Soul Sporting with the talk. First lady from New York, New York.
Brooklyn.
All my people, you rocking with the chat.
Hit that.
That like button would tell me where you at. You know, Step from the NBK. Born and raised up NBK. Hey, real lady, where she holding it down. No matter way how you feel, she gon' greet you with a smile.
Sister, you one of a kind.
Yes.
Oh, sister, it's time you
That's her.
shine. Dope Soul.
Where you at? Where you at?
Dope Soul.
Where you at? Where you at?
Dope Soul.
What?
Dope Soul.
What?
Your soul.
Where you at? Where you at?
Salute, Knick family. Welcome to the channel, Dope Soul Sports Talk, Dope Soul Knicks Talk, a member of the NBK family. The Knicks lost their second straight last night, losing in Miami, 120 to 127. Losing, in my opinion, in the same fashion that they lost to Minnesota the game before. They shot well, scored enough, didn't defend well, and in my opinion, didn't match the urgency of the opposition. Both of those teams are fighting for playoff positioning. And I'm not sure what the Knicks are thinking. Like, do the Knicks think that they have the playoffs wrapped up, that they can't fall to the 7th seed? I'm not sure what's going on with the Knicks, but they're not able or haven't been able to match the urgency of Minnesota and then last night, Miami. But we're going to get into it. Shout out to everybody in the chat already, those who'll be joining later. And then, of course, the replay gang. I appreciate you guys. All right, let's get into this. To set this up really quick, the Knicks came into the game 42-31, 11 games over 500, fifth in the Eastern Conference, 6-4 over their last 10, haven't lost the last game. Miami came in 39-34, seventh in the Eastern Conference, close to 6 though, 6-4 over their last 10 as well. Also haven't lost their last game. We started our usual starters: Brunson, Grimes, Barrett, Randall, Robinson. They started Gabe Vincent, Tyler Hero, Jimmy Butler, Kevin Love, Bam Adebayo. Cody Zeller was the only rotation player that was out for them. You know, I'm going to get right into it. Like I talked about, I felt like there's a lack of urgency on the Knicks' part. You know, and I've said this. We are as close, or throughout these last, 10, 15 games, as close to the 7th seed as we've been to the 4th seed. So a lot of us, myself included, looking at the 4th seed. But one of the things that I was also keeping my eye on was that 7th seed, really not wanting to fall into the play-in. Not that I don't think the Knicks are a good team. They are. Not that I don't think that the Knicks can, find their way into the playoffs, the 7th or 8th seed, if they were in a play-in spot. They could. But as well as we've played throughout this season, you want to be guaranteed a playoff spot. Finish in the top 6, right? Now the Knicks are making it super hard for themselves. Having lost those last 2, finishing in the top 6 is not a gimme. However, we have one more game with Miami. We play Cleveland. The rest of the schedule doesn't look, tough. So I'm not panicking, but I'm starting to get a little concerned because every team in the playoffs is going to play with urgency, right? One of the things I liked about the Knicks is that their approach was the same. Game in, game out, just the same workman-like approach. The last 2 games, particularly on the defensive end, I think offensively, the Knicks have put up enough points to win. They've actually been shooting better than they usually shoot, right? So offensively, they've been doing the job. But defensively, not so much. You felt Miami's presence in this game. From the beginning, you felt they was up into the Knicks. They made it clear they were going to double Randall and Brunson, and sometimes they were even doubling quickly in RJ. At some point, they were doubling. I think it was wherever the ball was in a particular area. Whoever had it, they would double. But Brunson and Randall got a lot of attention last night. This is how it's going to be in the playoffs. Like last night to me was a prelude of what the playoffs is going to be like, what teams are going to do, the approach teams are going to take. They're not going to just sit there and allow Randall and Brunson to beat them, right? They're going to double, they're going to blitz, they're going to do different things. And in all honesty, I thought the Knicks handled it well, for the most part. Other guys showed up. Brunson had 26, and we'll talk about Brunson. Not his finest night, in my opinion, despite the 26 points and despite the efficient shooting. RJ with 25 points. Grimes hit 6 3-pointers. He had 22 points. I think Josh Hart had 12. Mitch had 10. So offensively, the Knicks did what they were supposed to do. Randall had 15 points in this game. Part of it was shooting inefficient. I think he took 16 shots and he made, I don't know, 6, 7, whatever it was. But I thought his floor game was good. He had 9 assists. I don't think he forced it. He read the defense. He took what they gave him, for the most part. I thought he played well despite having only 15 points. And that's what you're going to have to do in the playoffs. So let's not focus on the points. Teams are going to take the ball out of your best player's hands and force the rest of the team to beat you. That's what they did last night. And I thought offensively, we responded. The only thing I would like from Randall, when he's double teamed, he's looking for that open guy himself. He wants to make that direct pass. My preference, just pass it to the player next to you. Let them whip it around to the open guy. Make that defense move. Make that defense work on multiple passes. But other than that, I thought Randall played well. He had 4 turnovers, though. The Knicks had 17 turnovers for the game. That's not our usual MO. Randall had 4. Brunson had 5. It's just unacceptable. 5 turnovers. Now, he didn't have any in the 4th. Thank goodness he got it together, right? But he also struggled in the double team last night. They was able to get their hands on a few of the balls as he was trying to pass out, of the double team. They deflected it. They were quick to the ball. They was able to pick it up and go the other way. What I will say is that the Knicks did not get hurt on their turnovers. The Knicks had 17 turnovers, but Miami was only able to get 9 points out of those 17 turnovers, right? Conversely, they had 10 turnovers, and the Knicks were able to get 16 points off of those turnovers. So the turnovers didn't hurt us per se, but they didn't come at, well, to me, a turnover never comes at a good time. Never comes at a good time. Brunson has to be better. I don't know. Maybe he's not 100%. I don't know what it is, but he has to be better. 5 turnovers is unacceptable. And he missed 2 free throws down the stretch. It's just unacceptable. You got to be sharper than that. Now, one of the things I don't want to do is take one game and color the entire person's season. Oh, he can't handle double teams. Oh, he can't handle, longer players. I'm not going to take one game and then let that color the entire narrative on a guy, right? I'm not going to do that with Brunson. I'm not going to do that with Randall. And I'm not going to do that with Quick, who the past few games, in my opinion, has not been at his best. He was 1 of 8 last night. They took him out of the game. They double teamed him. Now, he only played 18 minutes. And I think a lot of that had to do with how well Grimes was playing, right? I don't think it was because he shot poorly, because he's had games in which he shot poorly and still had 25, 28, 30 minutes, in the game. So I don't think that's why his minutes was down. I think it was just that Grimes was shooting better. But again, this game was like a playoff game. They're not going to allow Quick to do all of the stuff he wants to do as well. They're going to do their best to take that away. And to Tony Crow's credit, and I think some of you also said it in the chat, it doesn't have to be one person that steps up throughout the playoffs. Last night, it was Grimes. He had 6 3-pointers, and we needed them, right? maybe another game is going to be, it's going to be somebody, it's going to be somebody else. But I like the way offensively the Knicks responded to what Miami did. They were all up into us, right? You really felt them on the defensive end, but the Knicks still scored 120 points. The Knicks still shot over 50% from the field. The Knicks still shot 40% from three. The issue was Miami did not feel us. They had 127 points on the season. I think they averaged 109 points. They had 127. They're not a good field goal shooting team. They shot, I believe, 57% from the field. They're not a good free throw shooting. Three-point shooting team. They shot over 50% from the three-point line. And then, of course, they shot well from free throw. They're second, I believe, in the league in free throw shooting percentage. So the Knicks were right there with an opportunity to win this game. But down the stretch, they could not get stops, right? We had, clinging to like a 1-point lead, midway through midway through the fourth quarter. What's his name? Butler comes back in the game. Next thing you know, the Knicks down 9. Next thing you know, the Knicks down 12. You gotta be able to get stops when you're trying to hold on to a lead or you're trying to get back into a game. You can't just trade baskets. So it was what it was. The fourth quarter was terrible. Hero had 4 threes in the fourth. He had 14, I believe, of his 22 points in the fourth quarter. The Knicks doubled him late. I thought that might have been something that they should have tried early. That being said, your base defense is not even that great. Now you're going to go to a double team and leave somebody open when pretty much the team was hitting well. Butler even had 2 3-pointers. I think when you get to that point in the game, when a team is really hot and your defense is not flowing, there's not really much you're going to be able to do. I thought, talking about defense, they were really going at Brunson defensively, right? I thought, do you want to help him? Do you want to send somebody, to double to kind of help him? But it was what it was. Brunson is going to have to get better defensively. Get with Fred VanVleet. Watch some film of Fred VanVleet. Figure out how the small defensive guards in this game get it done. And spend some time this summer doing it. It's because last night there was no resistance on Brunson's part. Like, I get it. Your small guys overpower you, fine. But I didn't even get a sense that he was trying to hold his ground. Like, there was just no resistance on the defensive end for Brunson. And he just has to get better. I don't think he'll ever be a great defensive player, but he got to be better than he was last night. Anyway, let me check in with the chat. Deron Wayne took one on the chin yesterday. Yeah, we did. JJ, he's getting blown by a ton now. He is. And see, this is the thing about Miami. They're gonna all teams scout, but they're gonna take away your best players. And if they see a weakness, they're gonna go at it. And that's exactly what they did. With Brunson, more than usual. The coolest 718, no perimeter defense. I've been saying this for years. Keith Turner, Orlando was not an easy game. We thought the Charlotte game was going to be easy too. You are absolutely right. Absolutely right. Jeff Clafter, the Magic been playing over 500 ball the last 3 months after an awful start. Correct. Jarrell, we always get a tough game from Orlando. I'm not feeling good about tonight's game. Not the way we're playing defense right now. Over the last 10 games, Jarrell, we're 25th in defensive rating. 25th out of 30 teams over the last 10 games. Pudge Nice, Tibbs has set rotation regardless of gameplay. Most teams do. Most teams don't go out of their rotations. Pudge Nice, Grimes had the hot hand and was benched. He's a template coach, but he came back in. He came back in. He played more minutes than Quickly did. So I'm not sure what the template is. They went with the smaller lineup. Grimes came back in the game. Usually Grimes only plays, 20 minutes a game? Okay. Jeff Claff, the last 2 years, we were elite come the end of the year on that end. Now, not so much. Yeah, no doubt about it. Salute Kareem Grant. Appreciate you. Tim Smith, good morning all. I need a therapy session after the last 2 games. So I'm going to keep quiet and listen to the Queen's voice of reason. Listen, the Knicks play well enough to win. One thing I'm encouraged about is my concern going into the playoffs is they're going to double team Randall. They're going to double team Brunson. They're going to limit their effectiveness. Who's going to show up for the Knicks? Right? They did that last night, and the Knicks still had an opportunity to win that game. They scored 120 points. They shot over 50%. They shot over 40% from the three-point line, right? The rest of the team showed up. RJ had a very efficient game last night. I think he only took like 12, 13 shots. So he's picking his spots. And when he's not forcing it, and when he gets his opportunity, he's making it count. I love the way RJ Barrett has been playing of late. If you're efficient, you don't need to put up 20 shots to get 20 points. He took 13 shots or something. We'll get to it soon enough. And he scored 20. So he led the team in scoring. Be efficient. I thought he was competing on the defensive end. So Tim Smith, if we get this type of production from the team, and remember, Quickly didn't even have a good game. He was 1 for 8. I think we're going to be fine on the offensive end if this continues in the playoffs. But defensively, this is not going to work. It's just not going to work. Now, mind you, coming into this game, Miami over their last 10 games had not been great. And Spoelstra had said, it's going to turn around. I know it's going to turn around. And last night it did. So the same thing for the Knicks. It needs to turn around, and I believe it will turn around. Even Randall said so last night. We got to be better on the defensive end. All right. All right. Yeah, we even made free throws, right? So in terms of our percentages, in terms of points scored, the Knicks were fine. What are we gonna what are we gonna do defensively? All right. This is just, the Knicks' biggest lead was 6. Miami's was 12. There were 9 lead changes. All right. I'm not going to get into that too much. Barrett, like I said, 26 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists, shot 61% from the field, 50% from 3. RJ Barrett, loving what he's doing. Brunson, 25 points, 6 rebounds, 6 assists, 5 turnovers, but did shoot efficiently, 62.5% from the field. Grimes had 22 points, 2 rebounds, 6 3-pointers, shot 58.3% from the field. Now, I don't expect Grimes to hit, I think he was 6 of 8 from 3. I don't expect him to hit it at that clip. But yeah, those were some big shots. He gets a lot of open looks. And when he does, he needs to knock down, a few of them. And I get it. Sometimes he doesn't get, like, I think last game he only got 1 shot, but look, Randall had 57 points. Randall wasn't passing. He was shooting. He was hot. So guys are not going to get the shots they usually get in a game like that. He plays 20 minutes a game. He's not going to get, as many shots as, other guys. And when he does get the shots, he's kind of inconsistent in hitting it. And I get it. Some people are in the camp. You gotta force it. You gotta not force it, but you gotta figure out a way to get him more shots. I just don't agree. He's a second-year player. I don't think you run plays for Grimes. You just don't, right? He plays off of the other guys. That's his role right now. Maybe he'll get a bigger role later on, But right now, his role is to play off of Randall, play off of Brunson, be a catch and shoot guy, and obviously attack the closeouts, right? If they're closing out on you when you're about to hit the three, attack it. And he does that. So I'm okay with the shots that he's getting right now. I'm not running plays for Grimes. I'm just not, right? But if he's open and you're driving to the basket, yeah, you should pass it to him, right? Randall, 15.6 rebounds, 9 assists, 4 turnovers. Didn't have a good shooting game, 43.8% from the field. He drew a lot of attention last night. And like I said, 51.2% from the field, 40% from the three-point line, 80% from the free throw line. Miami, Butler, 35 points, 4 rebounds, 9 assists, 2 3-pointers, 57.9% from the field. Hero, 22 points, 14 of those in the fourth quarter, 3 rebounds, 4 assists, 4 3-pointers, 61.5% from the field. Vincent, 9 points, 3 assists, 3 threes, 66.7% from the field. And Lowry, 14 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 threes, 55. Like, the entire team shot well. They shot 57% from the field, 57% from the three-point line, and basically 81% from the free throw line. The Knicks shot well. They shot better, right? The Knicks shot that despite them being up into the Knicks, right? The Knicks have to get up into the opponent defensively. They have to do a better job. All right, let me see if there's anybody else I want to point out other than who we just talked about. Emmanuel Quickly, 5 points. He did have 4 rebounds. He had 3 assists. He had 2 steals. He didn't turn the ball over. He just didn't shoot well. And like I said, he didn't get a lot of minutes, but I think a lot of that was just due to how well Grimes played. Grimes played 20, 25, almost 26 minutes last night, above his average. Mitch, I thought Mitch played well. Mitch was very active, particularly in the first quarter. 10 points, 8 rebounds, 3 block shots, hit all of the shots he got. He was 4-4 from the field. I like the way Mitch played last night. Josh Hart, the usual, 12 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals, 1 block, 2 3-pointers, shot 60% from the field. It's just another day in the office for Josh Hart. Now, I will say this, though. Josh Hart defense has not been great either, right? So I'm not sure what's going on with the Knicks and their lateral quickness, but guys are getting by them. Yeah, part of it is, not defending the three-point line, but another part of it is when you do go out and get in front of a guy, they're just driving by. So the Knicks have to get better in containment as well. And Obi Toppin, 12 minutes, 3 points. He did have 4 rebounds. One assist. Not bad for Obi Toppin. Again, I don't think it was the offense; it was the defense for the Knicks. Let me just go over the team stats, and I'll check in with the chat. The chat again. The Knicks won points in the paint, second chance points. They were close with fast break points. They won points off of turnovers. They out rebounded them. Both teams made 16 threes. Looking at the individual and team stats, it seemed close. Seemed like a close. They made, basically the difference was they made 3 more shots than the Knicks. But if you watch the game, you just saw how Miami was able to get whatever they wanted offensively. They were able to get whatever they wanted. And in the crunch time, they were better. That last 5 minutes of the game, Miami was better. Their guys came through and ours didn't in crunch time. And it's just as, it's just as simple as that. Let me check in with the chat again before let's do this first. Let's do this first. And then we'll go over the Orlando game. So the Knicks are still in fifth place. They have now 4 games out of 4th, but I don't even think we should be worrying about 4th place, right? They're 2 games, basically 2 games from being in the 7th seed. because Miami and Brooklyn are virtually tied. It must be some sort of tiebreaker, which is why Brooklyn is 6. No, Miami has one more loss than Brooklyn. That's why Miami is still 7th. But in terms of games back, the Knicks are 2 games out of the 6th seed, 2 games out of the 7th seed. You know, you really want to fall below that dotted line? Atlanta, Toronto, Chicago, and you could say, I'm not afraid of any of those guys. But if you falling from 5th to 7th, basically what that's saying is at this point in the season, you're not playing well. So if you're not playing well and you fall to 7, you really going in there real confident against Atlanta, Toronto, and Chicago, you're not playing well if you fall to 7. The Knicks have to get it together, and I believe they will. I believe they will, right? But right now, the Knicks are 2 games out of 7th. Now, I think the Knicks have the tiebreaker with Miami because of conference record. At this point, yeah, because of conference record, that's the tiebreaker if Miami and New York is tied. But I think both of them will finish in the top 6. 5 or 6. I do think Brooklyn might slide down to 7. I think the Knicks and Miami will probably finish 5 or 6 in any order. So I'm not panicking, but I am a little concerned. I'm a little concerned because of the defense that we're playing. All right, let me check in with the chat before I get to Orlando. David L said that's basically Jalen Brunson's matchup. Gabe, this what JB brought. Listen, like I said earlier, I'm not going to get down on a guy because of one game. We're not even in this position without Brunson. So it's important. Guys are going to have bad games. Guys are going to have bad stretches of the season. It happens. Like, I'm not going to let that color the entire season. But he has to get better. JJ, that Mavs pick looking good. Yes, it is. Michael Sharon, defense has to tighten up. These last 2 games, the Knicks have given up an average of 133 points per game. I'm with you. Tighten it up. Messing with Tibbs, we might drop. Here we go. Here we go with the narratives. Pudge nice because of Tibbs. Tibbs is part of the reason we're in 5th place. Come on, you guys have to be fair. Don't get too down. Don't get too high. Everybody just relax. Now we're going to turn on Tibbs. We're going to turn on Brunson. We're going to turn on IQ and Randall. Listen, it happens. It happens. Jeff Clafter, 4th place dream is dead. Avoid the 7th seed at all costs. I'm with you. JJ must win game tonight. Yeah, and I don't think it's going to be easy either. The refs gave that game to. I'm not going to say they gave it to the Heat, but I will say this: Jimmy Butler went to the line 14 times. You could not touch Jimmy Butler last night, and the Knicks were getting roughed up. But all of that being said, the Knicks went to the line 25 times. Miami went to the line 26 times. So there wasn't a disparity, in terms of total free throws. But I do think the Knicks could have went to the line much more had they called it the same way, in my opinion. The coolest 718, Tibbs should have took Mitch out when he went down. Luckily, he got up and played. But why risk missing the playoffs? Okay. Hart lost Hero for a crucial 3 last night from the corner. Can't happen. It's a game of inches, JJ. I agree with you. Particularly in crunch time. The attention to detail has to be immaculate. You can't turn the ball over. You got to make all your rotations. You can't leave people open for the 3. Yeah. Pudge nice. J Hart guarded Butler great. All right. I mean, if you say so. Michael Sharon, the best thing about last night's game is that this was a great test for the Knicks to see what they have to look forward to in the playoffs. Bingo, bingo. Bingo, bingo. This is what it's going to be. But I still think the Knicks responded in terms of points, in terms of field goal percentage, in terms of 3-point percentage. They did respond. But down the crunch, that in crunch time, they wasn't as sharp as they needed to be, and their defense throughout the game was not as sharp as they needed to be. Tom's Thibodeau, 8 is enough. Rotation will be a disaster to close the season after first round exit. 4 out of the Knicks' 8 rotation players don't have playoff experience. Mitch, J Hart, I Hart, Grimes. I mean, that's just how this roster is built, and hopefully, in the off season, they'll get some players who have some playoff experience. And, next season, the Knicks will have playoff experience. This is just how it happens. At some point, every player in the league did not have playoff experience. If the Knicks lose because they don't have playoff experience, they won't be the first team that lost because players couldn't come through because they weren't used to how tight it gets in the playoffs, right? So that definitely can happen. Kareem Grant, not going to hold you, but the refs killed the momentum as well. Yeah. No doubt about it. Okay. Pudge Nice. I stand on the Grimes takes. On my takes, Grimes should be benched. I don't. Listen, bottom line, whether you start Hart or you bring Grimes off the bench, I don't think anything changes with the minutes. So start him. Start Hart. What's going to change? You're just moving the same chairs around the deck. Start Hart. I don't have a problem with that. Grimes is still going to get his minutes. So what's going to be different? It's not like the first team in that first quarter struggles so much and we get off to such bad starts that we need to have Hart. Look at the minutes. Stop looking at who starts. Look at the minutes. Look at who closes the game. If you start Hart, Grimes is still going to get 20, 21 minutes a game. What's going to be different? I don't see what's going to be. I don't see anything that's going to be different. If you want to do anything, and I agree with Keith Turner, we need to upgrade that position, period. And maybe with the growth of Grimes, the position will be upgraded, right? Because he'll be better, right? Just like Quickly was better his third year, Grimes should be better his third year, right? And the position will be upgraded because the player got better, right? If we lose tonight, Friday's show will definitely be interesting. Oh man, if we lose to Orlando, yeah, you're right. Craig didn't like the way IQ played. I mean, I don't think it was his final. He didn't shoot well. Yeah. Actually, Tibbs sat IQ when he wasn't playing well, and that doesn't always happen. That doesn't always happen. But Grimes was shooting so well. If you guys recall, down the stretch, we went with Randall at the 5, RJ at the 4, and Grimes came back into the game. Kenny Payne, I just hope Grimes ain't an 8-year player like Barrett seems to be progressing. Nah. Yeah, we'll see. Keep in mind with Grimes, though, he didn't play a full season last season because of the injuries, right? So it's not like, he's probably played like 120 games, like maybe a season and a half, Pudge Nice, I got the Knicks winning. Yeah. Jeremy Nussbaum, I hope I said that right. Brock Aller will be responsible for the collapse of the bank system. Wasting valuable cap space, $32.5 million on Evan Fournier and Derrick Rose. Completely unacceptable. Listen, not really. I mean, when we got use out of them when we first signed them, what are you going to do? Like just play guys because they make money? Or you're going to play the best players on the team? This happens all over. Look at how much money Miami spent on Duncan Robinson. They signed him to a $90 million contract. He's not even in the rotation. I'm not even sure. He might be hurt right now. But even when he's not hurt, he's not in the rotation. It happens. Sometimes things don't work out. If we lose to the Magic, I see a first round exit. Like, nah. Just because the Knicks lose to the Magic, I don't think. Listen, the Knicks can lose. The Knicks can win out the rest of the season and still lose in the first round because the Knicks are not going to be favorites in the first round, right? So if the Knicks lose in the first round, I'm not going to be super disappointed. I want to look at how those games were played. I don't care who the Knicks play in the first round; they're not going to be the favorite, right? So we're expecting to get to the second round. Basically, what you're saying is you expect the Knicks to beat a team that's ranked higher than them. Maybe they will. Maybe they will. All right, let's talk about Orlando. The Knicks right now 42-32 on the season, 5th in the Eastern Conference still, 5-5 over their last 10. They lost their last 2 games. Orlando is 30-45, 13th in the Eastern Conference, 4-6 over their last 10. They won their last game. The Knicks right now over their last 10 games, not the season, the last 10 games are 7th in offensive rating. That's 118.1 points per 100 possessions, but 25th in defense, right? So basically right now they're giving up more points than they're scoring, right? They're giving up 1 more point than they're scoring, right? We've beat Orlando, I believe 2-0, if I'm not mistaken, 2-0. So we beat them the two games we've played them this season. Orlando over their last 10 are 20th in offensive rating, 15th in defensive rating. So their defense has been better than the Knicks over the last 10 games. I'm not sure, if they've played the quality of teams the Knicks have played over the last 10, but whoever they've played, they're 15th in defensive rating and 18th in offensive rating. So they also give up more points than they score. I anticipate the same starters for the Knicks: Brunson, Grimes, Barrett, Randall, Mitch. They start Markelle Fultz, Gary Harris, Franz Wagner, Paolo Banchero, and Wendell Carter Jr. It's going to be a tough game for the Knicks. I'm not sure whether Brunson is 100%. Maybe he's not 100%. But if he's not 100%, he's going to have his hands full, with Fultz, who's a long, lanky, guard. The thing about Brunson is he's operating on the slimmest of physical margins. You know what I mean? When he gets a shot off, he's just getting it off the tips, over the outstretched hands of the other guy. And he's brilliant with it. But if he got a toe injury, if he got a hangnail, in his toe, if he got a foot injury, if he got an ankle, a knee, a hip, anything that's going to slow him down, he loses that slight edge he has with the craftiness and the footwork, right? So, let's see. David L., we can lose some games. Wow. We got some space. Those teams' fans are scared of us behind us losing games. All right. JJ, Brunson can't be on Fultz. No, I'm talking about the other way around. Fultz on Brunson. And if Brunson is not 100%, he may not have the advantage he usually has in terms of his craftiness and his footwork. JJ, just give us a competitive series. Yeah, I see that. All right. And this is just a little bit on Orlando. On the season, they average 111.7 points a game. The Knicks average 115. The Knicks rebound better than them on the season. Assists is close as well, 22.4 to 23. Steals, 1 more steal for them than the Knicks. The Knicks are not a big steals team. Blocks about even. Turnovers, the Knicks turn the ball over less than they do. They shoot slightly better than the Knicks from the field. They shoot about the same as the Knicks from the 3-point line, and they're a little better than the Knicks on the free throw line. Again, this is for the season. We went over the last 10 games. Points in the paint, basically even. The Knicks are a little better in second chance points, fast break points. Orlando is a little better. All right. Tomorrow I'll be back for the morning recap show of the Orlando game. Tomorrow night will be the Just Nicking It show. We usually go Thursdays around 9 o'clock, but the Knicks play tonight. So we're going to go Friday. All right. I appreciate y'all watching. Let me just shout some people out on my way out the door. Shout out to JJ. Orlando been beating good teams. Or, yeah, Kenny Pay 50 burger crowd. Where you at? Hey. It was looking good for a while, Kenny Payne. It was looking good. Dwight Young. Yeah. Nobody wants to mention this, but Josh was a weak point on defense. He was getting cooked on screens. He was. But I think it was the entire Knicks team. But you to your point, you're right about that. Jeff Clafter, building blocks. I appreciate you. Kenny Payne, the coolest 718. David L. Mind you, the last 2 wins for Orlando was against the Heat and Clippers, teams we lost to. Listen, you ain't got to tell me it's going to be a tough game. Shout out to Craig, David L, Jeremy Nussbaum. I appreciate you. Tim Smith, Craig, Jarrell, Captain Booty Man. Okay, all right now. I appreciate you. As well, I think I got to and Kareem Grant. I appreciate you as well. Thank you guys for the comment. Those who listen later, I really do appreciate you leaving the comments. That helps the channel. If you guys can hit the like button on your way out, I think we got 40 people listening and we got 29 likes. I just hit the like button for myself. All right. So now we got 30. Good game tonight. Hopefully the Knicks, bounce back. If I had to put money on it, I would put money that they will. Until next time.
Sister, you one of a kind.
Yes.
Oh, sister, it's time you
That's
shine. Don't so.
Where you at?
Don't so.
Where you at?
Don't so.